Hello, beautiful humans. This is MJ with Mirrored Wellness Podcast. Thank you for joining me on this quest for self-mastery. In this podcast, I talk, sometimes ramble on, about all things self-wellness. I share tips and personal journeys that have touched my life. I hope you enjoy, lean in, and let's get to today's episode. What is up, my friends? This is MJ from Mirrored Wellness. I hope you are having a fabulous week and a fabulous day wherever you are in your journey to life. I just want to acknowledge how much fun having a guest on was. I really enjoyed having Jamie on. I hope you enjoyed her as well. If you have not seen our ramble, please do so. Go check it out. It was the last podcast episode. We talked about self-sabotage versus self-care. Sometimes those things get blurred lines. Today I want to talk about a few things that I learned in the last few weeks. Recently I did a Gabby Bernstein, a little bit of a challenge. It was a manifestation challenge, and I learned a lot from those last couple of weeks. I'm going to share a few quick tips with you from that, because it wasn't even just about the manifestation that I really want to share with you. Just a few things that actually helped my own mental state. And that was really what I got a lot out of that. As a reference, Gabby Bernstein is an author, and I guess you call her a motivational speaker. I really hate that word, motivational speaker or self-help. I prefer self-mastery, but I suppose it's just my own block or my own thing. So Gabby Bernstein has a book called Super Attractor. I would definitely go check it out if you haven't read it. It is fabulous. A lot of what she talks about sounds very spiritual, sounds very woo-woo-y. I apologize. My dog is, she's snoring next to me, so if that's annoying, I apologize. But, don't wake up sleeping dogs. That's my thing. So, anyway, back to Gabby Bernstein. So, I really feel like she has a way about her that even if you feel like something seems to be very woo-woo-y, she explains it in such a way that makes a lot of sense. So, I'm going to... one of the things she really talks about a lot is that you have to feel something in order to attract more of it. And what that looks like is we're always trying to be happy, or we're always seeking happiness as if that is our end point. But really, the human condition means that we're not, happiness isn't just one state of mind we're supposed to feel. We're supposed to, and I posted about this. This actually comes from Untamed by Glennon Doyle. If you have not read that book, it is phenomenal. I don't care if you're a male or a female. You identify as a female, you identify as a male. Go freaking read this book. Glennon Doyle writes with such beautiful... the words that come out of this woman are in such a way, it's just always... It's poetry, not always. I haven't read many more than just that book, but it is poetry. It's beautiful. Go read it. One of the things I got out of that book was feelings are for feeling. Feelings are for feelings. Let that shit set in for just a second. That means that if you're having a bad day, it's okay to be feeling the way you're feeling. It's okay. That's part of the human condition. The human condition is such that if we were supposed to be happy all the time, that's how we would feel all the time, right? But we're human, so we get to go through all of those emotions, all of them. And as we all know, in order to appreciate something, you also have to appreciate the dark side of it as well, right? You can't have the light without having the dark. Let's just say, let's say dieting for a good example, because it's the beginning of the year and a lot of people start dieting this time of year. If you're dieting and you restrict yourself from those things, let's say you have a cheat day, what are you most likely to do on that cheat day? Eat all the freaking things that you haven't, and it's so good, isn't it? Oh my gosh, when I go a full week without having like a chocolate chip cookie, I'm so sorry. Chocolate chip cookies are probably my very favorite thing in the entire universe. I've figured out a way to make them so that I can eat them because I'm not really allowed to have gluten or dairy. It doesn't do well with my stomach anymore. So long story short, if I don't have chocolate chip cookies for a long period of time and then I have one, it's like orgasmic. It's so good. But you know what? If I had chocolate chip cookies all the time, eventually I'd get sick of them. I would get so sick of it. Okay, maybe not, but I would definitely not appreciate it as more. And that's kind of the same idea, right? Is that if you don't go through the fire, you're not going to know what it feels like not to burn. Not to burn. You know what it feels like to burn. Now let's get through that so we can get to the other side of it. Kind of like that saying, I don't know where it comes from, but it says if you're going through hell, why stop there? Keep going, right? Keep going. I promise there's another side of it. But the key to it is feeling those feelings. Feel the feelings. I could give you a few tips on how to get through them. First is if you need help, freaking reach out. I'm serious. One of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in my entire life is feeling like I was alone and that I had to do it all myself. That's bullshit. We're here for you. It's a lot of us. We're all human. We all experience these things. Reach out. Reach out, reach out, reach out. And if you are uncomfortable reaching out to somebody you know, reach out to somebody like me who maybe you don't know. I can point you in the right direction. Maybe I can, point you to a therapist that maybe I've had, or, a friend of mine a coach that has helped me through things, or whatever. There's plenty of people out there that are willing to listen. Sometimes you just need someone to hold space for you. That's a beautiful thing. The other tip I would say is I'm going to drop a podcast link in here. Lewis Howes had Kyle Cease on, and he said in an interview with him that you have a feeling and you drop the narrative, right? So you're, oh my gosh, like this makes me feel terrible. Somebody said something and it made me feel yucky. So you drop the narrative of what that person just said to you, like what the story is in your head, feel it in your body. Where's that feel? What's that feel like? Is it in the pit of your stomach? Is it in your chest? Is your chest tight? So now what you're going to do is breathe and ground yourself. You're going to breathe. You're going to ground yourself. And then you're going to focus on it. And eventually what's going to happen is it's going to dissipate, right? You're going to focus on your breathing. You're going to focus on it and it's going to dissipate. Sometimes it might move. It might take a few times. Like maybe it's tightness in your chest and then it moves to your gut. And you got to ground yourself again and breathe it out. But if we don't feel our feelings, they're just going to get pushed down and they're just going to get, lost. There's another idea where you hard stop, which my friend does this, where she says, no, for me, overwhelm is a hard stop feeling for me. If I feel overwhelmed, I'm like, no, I am the type of person that doesn't feel overwhelmed. And I say that to myself and then I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm not going to feel it anymore. Some emotions you can do that with. Others are a little bit more hefty. With those, I would recommend now overwhelm. I kind of do the same thing where I'm like, okay, I feel overwhelmed. I ground myself. I acknowledge the fact that I am feeling overwhelmed. Thank you, old friend, for showing up, is showing me what I don't want to feel today. I appreciate that. It's still the same process, it's just a little different. It's basically telling yourself every time you have that emotion, I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel it. It's not going to stay. You're still feeling it. It's still there. You're acknowledging it. It's still there. But you're saying to yourself, I don't feel like that for long. It'll come up, but you know what? I don't want to hang on to it. That's it. So then you move on, right? You ground yourself. And as much as that keeps coming up, you just keep doing the same thing. It's like training a dog. It's the same thing. You just got to keep doing it. And eventually it will get better. It will get easier. And again, if you're having a block with it and it seems like it's not getting easier, maybe you just need someone to help you out. And that's okay. Asking for help is okay. Now, Another thing that I learned after this Gabby Bernstein manifestation challenge was that I think I'd said this, that you, in order to feel the things that you want to feel, so I want to feel abundant, right? I have to find something that makes me feel abundant and focus on that in order to attract more abundance. So for me, I really brainstormed the hell out of this. And these are the two things that made me feel abundant doing a gratefulness practice. I cannot tell you enough how much a gratefulness practice is worth its weight in gold. For sure it is. I know I'm throwing a lot at you at this, but definitely if you take anything out of this, is that go find your practice, but include gratefulness practice in it. What that looks like is this. Today I'm grateful for 3 things. You either do it in the morning, you do it at night, or you do it in the middle of the day, or you do it all 3 times. However much you feel like you need to be grateful for it. And for me, that looks like 2 big things and 1 small thing, because it's easy to overlook the small things, right? So when I do a gratefulness practice, and I think this comes from Tim Ferris, I say, you know what? I'm grateful for my family. When I say it, when I write it down, I think about it. I think about how they make me feel, as long as they make me feel happy, right? In this moment, if your family stresses you out, that you can look at it in a positive sense, where like, I'm grateful for my family because I learn what I don't want, or I learn when not to hang out with them, or I learn that I don't want that feeling, right? So you're grateful for them as a teacher, right? So that's 1. Number 2 is like, you know what? I'm grateful to have a place to live. That's really vague. That's really, it's a what I would call a large grateful practice, right? And the third thing I would always do is something small, something so like, not insignificant, because that's the wrong word, but small is the best I can say. And it would be like, I'm really grateful for this pen. Why am I grateful for this pen? Because I really like the way it writes. It's kind of a small thing, right? It's not like grandiose, but I'm really grateful for it. And that way you balance it out. You know that you're grateful for the large things, but there's also tiny things in the world that you're also very grateful for. So gratefulness practice is number 1. Number 2 thing that I found makes me feel abundant is being genuinely happy to cheer on other people for their accomplishments. So now I've made it a practice, and I call it my cheerleading sessions, and I have them in my calendar. I literally have it in my calendar, where instead of going on social media and scrolling for 15 minutes, I go on social media, I set a timer on my phone for 15 minutes, and I am only allowed for that 15 minutes to go on my Facebook page or go on my Instagram page or whatever other social media and cheer on other people, meaning like their posts, write something nice about how they're doing, and literally feel grateful for them for being able to do that thing. Like, like my friend just launched something she's really excited about. I share that with the world. I'm sharing her really exciting new venture with the world, because I want the world to see it. It's a beautiful thing. Another friend of mine is working on a book, and she's really excited about some of the stuff that she's coming out with. So, I make sure and go on and I say, I cheer on, like, this is beautiful. And I'm not lying either. Like, when I go on and I read those things and I cheer people on, I genuinely am really excited for those people. I'm genuinely excited, and I love to feel that same feeling. I can imagine how it would feel in my own body to have that level of excitement. I've been there before, right? So now I'm at a state where I'm feeling abundant, right? So that is the state that you want to be in. And Gabby Bernstein kind of explains it like this, and it's the best explanation I've ever heard, is that it's like tuning into a radio station. You have to be on the frequency of that radio station in order to hear it. That's kind of what you're doing with this. So if I want to feel more abundant, I have to be on my abundancy frequency. And in order to do that, I can create the beginning, the start of that, to feel abundant, because I don't need a ton of money to feel abundant. Abundance isn't necessarily money. Abundance is a feeling, just like success or failure is also a feeling, right? So those are a little bit of tips on how to kind of get those to start to manifest a certain state of mind. That was the biggest thing that I learned from that. And I know, again, I'm throwing a lot at you at this particular podcast, but my next couple episodes are also going to be one of them is going to be similar to this one, where I kind of share a lot of stuff that I've been learning lately that might be useful for you. And then I'm going to have a couple special guests on, because I have met some super awesome people lately, and I want to share their message with the world. I truly do. One might be a little long, so it'll be a special episode. Honestly, I think that's it. I don't want to throw too much more at you today. I really, really appreciate you for hanging out with me this long, for letting me speak at you so quickly and so passionately. I'm sorry, I'm Italian, so if you could see me, I am legitimately running my hands all over the place while I'm talking to you. Passionate to a fault sometimes. But what a beautiful thing. What a beautiful thing to be excited. I hope this has helped. We'll leave all this stuff in the show notes. It might be a long show notes episode. I appreciate you. I hope you can have the best experience possible. Go work on your self-mastery. Be the most awesome person in your life. Highly, highly suggest write a sticky note. And I want you to write this down right now. Lean in. Are you ready? I am enough. I am worthy of love from myself, from the universe, from God, from anyone else. I am worthy of love. Mostly from yourself. But write that down. I want you to put that on a sticky note, and I want you to put that right on your mirror. And every morning or every time you look in that mirror, and it must be at least once a day, promise me you're going to look in the mirror once a day and look at that sticky note and repeat it to yourself in your eyeballs, right in the mirror. That practice alone, if you do it every day, will help your mood, will help you feel more centered and happy in general. All right. I love you. Reach out if you need me. Like and subscribe if you like my stuff. If you have any suggestions, please send them my way. I am so happy to take suggestions and feedback. Any feedback's great feedback. I love you. Continue to be a beautiful human. I will see you next week. As always, thank you for listening. If you like, love, hate, get value, don't get value, this podcast, leave some feedback, like and subscribe, tell your friends. Don't forget to check me out on all social media. All that is in all the podcast notes below. This is MJ signing off. You continue to be a beautiful human. I love you.